Hi folks, thanks for joining me again. So I thought I'd do a winter scene today, seeing as it's getting a bit hot. I'm trying to cool down a bit. So just checking out knocking the tripod, and then let's start off with just a little bit of water, not too much. I did give it a little bit of a soak earlier, so hopefully it's not going to get too stretch as I'm doing this. Right then, so starting with the sky, I'm going to start off with a bit of, actually let's just clean this slightly. A little bit of a mess. Something like that's clean enough for what I do anyway. So a little bit of yellow ochre, cad yellow, let's whack a bit of that in. Start. Something like that, bring that down, and I'm going into Alizarin crimson. A bit on this side as well. Blend that all in together, and then let's introduce a bit of the blue. A bit darker. More on this side. Fill in the gaps, and let's bring that down to the horizon, which is going to be somewhere like that, about that low, I think. Something like that, and then down the bottom. Let's just bring that down first, something like that. Just touch it up a little bit where it's coming down, a little bit more than necessary. And what I'm going to do, I ain't clean the brush, I'm just getting some Payne's grey, because I really want to darken these trees along this horizon line. Just dip the tips of the water into the tips of the hairs into the water, just to straighten, to get a nice chisel edge. So that's that ground. Just give that a quick dry. Otherwise you get this sort of cauliflower effect. It's the beauty with the hairdryer. You can see where it's already started to happen slightly even there, but I ain't going to worry about that. Now I want this extra dark, because so often I paint them and they look alright while they're wet, and then once they've dried, you lose that contrast. Remember, they'll always dry lighter than they are when you're first putting them on. Now this time I want a nice contrast, a nice bit of dark on those trees. And then let's switch to the little rigger brush, tiny one. And I'm just going to pop in a few little individual ones just lying around. Just a little bit of detail. Right, come back to that in a bit. Now let's bit of the yellow ochre. Again, let's give that a quick dry. And then just start putting this little bit of land in. You see, just dab, leaving plenty of that white to suggest the snow. I can go up there a little bit. Let's just bring that down. Back to the rigger brush. I'm going to pop in a bigger tree there, a bit darker than that. Let's have another one. Let's have something else just there. Let's have a few little things on this side. Pop the tree, let's pop a few. Let's pop the trunk in. Somewhere else over here. Let's have another one next to it. Back to the little rigger brush. Plenty of Payne's grey, so I want this quite dark so you can see it. It's just ground nose now. It's a land scattered about. Now what I'm thinking is there's a river in the middle. Let's just pop something down there. Come down into the foreground. Something like that. The temptation is just to paint over all that white paper, but you have to be quite restrained so you don't ruin all that nice snow look. Push that up to the bottom of those tree trunks. Now what I want to do is reflect some of those sky colours to create our little river. So same colours as the sky. So let's start off with a bit of that yellow colour. It is a little bit contaminated, but I ain't going to worry too much. Just pop that in. I'm going to go to the blue. Let's just widen it a little bit. It's going over there and then it's going round the corner. And it's getting smaller, narrower, and then just goes round a bend. Let's clean that brush. I ain't cleaned the brush for ages. Let's just whack a bit of that crimson in as well. With the yellow. I should have done this when I was putting the colours in, but I'm gonna faff about that now. Right, let's give it a quick dry. Switching to this. This is the small Ranson Hake. I just want to put some edges now to this water. So I want this quite dark. So let's just mix some of those dark colours together. And then we've got these edges in. Back to the big Hake. I was going to put something in there, but I think I might just leave that actually. I'm just going to leave that. What I'm going to do. Just there, I'm going to have a bigger tree. This will be the dominant tree. Bigger than all the rest. You always need one big one. It sort of stands out more than all the others. And just put that in, and then with most of the paint off there, you can just swiggle it around there just to give the impression of leaves. What I might do is just pop a bit of a horizontal in there just to ground it a little bit. I think just here. I was going to put a little man on. I'm not quite sure whether I need, if I need him in this one. I would have put him there small, but I've sort of I've got nowhere to really put him properly. What I might do is just put a few birds up there. few little birds. And then just switch to the other rig brush. I'm just going to stick my name in the corner and call that one done. So I'm just going to stick my name, where should I put it? Just stick it down there. Right then, let's have a look at that one close up, see what it looks like. So looking at our finished paints, if we start off with the sky, so you can see where I began with a bit of, get the yellows and the pinks in there, and then around the edges came in with the sort of darker colours, predominantly added the blue to the mix. Never bothered cleaning the brush, brought that all the way down to the bottom, and then added plenty of Payne's grey to put in the distant trees. Now you can see the advantage of drying them. See you got the faint ones just behind, and then dry it and then put them in again, and it helps create that sort of second layer and that sense of depth. Added a bit of yellow ochre to the mix without drying it, and then just left all those white bits unpainted, and it just gives the impression of snow. It's a very easy way of creating snow. Actually, that's just given me an idea. I could have put a sun in there, couldn't I? Took some of the paint off and created a sun, or even used that if I would have sort of circled it. Never mind, something to think about for next time. Simple little trees put in, using the corner of the brush, then just using a little rigger brush, just put in a few trunks and little branches that get lost amongst the leaves. You can see there's the dominant one there, and again put in with the brush, and then when most of the paint is off, you can swiggle it about and just give those impression of leaves, just those little leaves at the top of the tree. And then coming further forward, not the best river I've ever done, but if I'd have put that in while I was doing the sky, it would have blended a lot better, I think. As it is, could have made a better job of that, but not to worry. And again, just some simple marks coming right the way down into the foreground. A few more trees on this side. The temptation is to just paint over all that snow, but you just have to restrain yourself. And then finally, just some little birds up there in the sky, just to add a little bit of life. So, I hope you enjoy that. Thanks always for your support. Do join me over at patreon.com/Stephen Crony if you get the chance. Join us over on there. You've got all the chat pages, the watercolour challenges. There's about 250 videos on there exclusive to members. Just click on the collections tab and you'll see them all. So I hope you can join me. Keep practicing, and I'll see you again soon.